Yes! Happy Friday, friends and family Friday here at Limitless Lives. Joshua Lifrak here, and I'm so excited because I get to hang out for the next half hour with the president. DJ from around the way. Every time you hang out with this guy, it is a great day. Let's go.
Wow.
I like that. I ride for like 3 hours, but I got it down.
What's up, man? I like the flow. You got like 2 bars in on that one. Usually you're about one bar. You got 2 bars in. That's good. Awesome,
yeah.
Man.
My like not singing, rapping, just not my forte. You coming around and like yelling a lot, absolutely my forte. I could be the guy who like yells the word, like somebody throws out like an awesome rap for like 5 hours and they end on like one word. I'd be the guy to be like yelling the one word.
That's Flavor Flav. That's Flavor Flav.
Yeah, I can wear a big clock. I got that. I want what is a joke? I got that. I got that.
Boy.
That would totally be me. Boy. Left and right.
Listen, I got the 80s. I got the 80s jumpsuit on, so we had to pay respects to all the 80s rappers out there. Flavor Flav, Public Enemy, MC Search. Yeah, I know he's out there, man. MC.
Listen, that's an undercover. Like you need to you'll hear stuff like you'll hear NWA.
Yeah.
You hear Beasties. You'll hear Far Side and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you never hear those
Search.
guys.
Search is a beast. Search is a beast. Cool. I mean, funny thing is, Harry and I've actually hung out with Search several times. Yeah, a number of times. MC Search likes to golf. If for the 80s people that don't know who we're talking about, look up Pop Goes the Weasel. You guys might remember that song. That was a good throwback. Yes. And but a great guy and awesome rapper. And yeah, the 80s that was a fun time for hip hop for sure.
No doubt. All right, cool. Speaking of fun times, you just got back from Phoenix, Arizona in June, and you climbed a mountain when you were out there. So
yes,
I don't know how you didn't just melt when you did that. Hopefully it was like 4 a.m.
Yeah, had a good guide with David Zay. David Zay said, "Hey, let's go find Quartz Ridge," which a lot of people don't know about Quartz.
No,
Ridge.
I never heard. I was out in Arizona for 6 years straight. For spring training.
It's interesting because even the Uber drivers, like one had heard of it and the other one had not. Both locals. Both had been there, 25, 30 years. It's right across the street from the Biltmore. Okay. So it's not far. It's like right up the street from there. And there's quartz rocks everywhere along this hike. That's awesome. The really cool thing about the hike is that there's, you start out and it's not really that shaded. Obviously, all the stories about, the heat and when you're hiking, you just have to be really careful. But then you get up about halfway through, and the way the sun hits, the mountain range, it blocks the sun, and so you get some areas of shade, and then you get to the top, and then obviously the sun's there again. But it was awesome, man. 3.5 miles. Got to hang out with my man David Zay, and really good experience. I would suggest it to anybody.
Now, speaking of, we're Limitless Minds, founded by yourself, Harry, Russ, and Trev.
Yep.
Trev was notorious for hiking up and down Camelback Mountain. So, and I say notorious because DJ knows this. You would get the phone call. Hey man, what's going on? Hey, get up. Yes, yeah. And they would talk to you for like a half an hour as you hiked up Camelback. But have you ever done Camelback?
I haven't. Actually, you know what? That was only probably my 2nd or 3rd time hiking. Like in any kind of mountain range going on. We have a Metro Parks here in Cleveland that I'll go and walk. But really, I walked. We did a hike in Santa Barbara a couple years back, which was really cool. There was a freshwater spring at the top. It was almost like a jacuzzi up top. It was incredible. We did that, and when I did that with the kids. But Zay asked me, before we went out there, he said, "Hey man, bring some shoes. Let's go on a hike, and I'll show you some of the places where I've been, in Phoenix." And that's what we did it. It was great. I got to. I mean, gosh. I mean, I know Zay pretty well. I've known him for David Zay, for you guys that don't know, he's our head of sales. I met him in pharmaceuticals, I mean, gosh, probably 7-8 years ago. And so I know him really well, but it's amazing. You spend that much time walking up and down a mountain, how you get to know somebody even better. And you know, doing something that he really loves. But you feel so close with nature when I get the whole hiking thing now that I've done it. I was thinking about it today. I was like, dang, I'd love to go on a hike. Because you feel so close to nature. And I think that it's interesting from a spirituality standpoint. I think God reveals himself or herself so many different ways throughout nature. And it's neat to be able to experience that and take that all in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always feel, I also, when you do it with somebody else, you connect at a different level, number one. But number two, the creativity just skyrockets, like as you're walking and talking and thinking, ideas just pop into your head. So topic number one, go on a hike, everybody. That's like
it, man. Get out there in nature.
Get out
there in nature. See how resilient nature is. See how complex but yet simple. See how nature does simple better, right? I mean, you can take a lot. See how success leaves clues throughout nature. You know, it really is. Honestly, it's just when you go and you do things like that, it does open your mind up in a way that doesn't happen in the office. And I know, you know, one of the things you read any book and it says surround yourself with, you know, great people. You know, you're the accumulation of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I'll tell you, Josh, like, you know, things that you do. I know you're big on, you know, going out, you ski, surfing, hikes, bike rides. I mean, those are things that I see you do that I admire. And that you try to incorporate, you know, even if it's in a small way, things like that in your own life. Trevor did the same thing. Trevor and I went on so many walks, man, so many walks. And the things we would talk about, you know, you learn about what's important to somebody. You learn about what really motivates them, what they're passionate about. I mean, you do that in nature, and it's pretty special.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. It's definitely some of the best conversations I've ever have been, you know, where you're walking and talking.
Right.
But that's not, speaking of walking and talking, let's just like transition. What were you out in the land of the sun, the desert? Why were you out there, DJ?
Yeah.
What were you doing in Phoenix, Arizona?
Yeah, so there's the huge life sciences conference. It's called LTEN. I think it's Life Science for Trainers and Educators Network. And I mean, there's hundreds of folks in training, sales training, product training, throughout pharmaceuticals, med device, and you just get to meet some of the best and brightest of the world and what they're doing to really develop and pour into people. And obviously, you know, Josh, I have a passion for that. If I can go someplace for, you know, 2-3 days and learn and grow and get better in this area of developing people, I want to be there. And so I had the opportunity to do that in Phoenix, which was, I mean, first of all, you know, one of the things I learned, I just tell you that Phoenix is a pretty awesome place. I mean, even when it's hot like it is, and you hear people complain, I think it got to 103 when we were out there. Yeah. The mornings are gorgeous. I mean, you know, and we were on East Coast time, so I mean, I'm chomping at the bit around 5 o'clock to, you know, get up and walking around. Ironically, the Starbucks doesn't open until 6, so that causes a little bit of an issue. But we're good. But then in the evenings are gorgeous too. You know what I mean? The weather's incredible. So I'm a firm believer. I get the whole thing around Phoenix. So I definitely learned that.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I mean, July, August, it gets a little bit unbearable even in the mornings and the evenings. But
okay.
It's a phenomenal place. Hey, just real quick before I forget, London's on saying, yo, what's up? So London, what's going on? Matt Miller, Lane, everybody's here.
Yeah, man. What's up, Lane? What's up, Matt? I see you, here. Sophie, shout out to David Zay. She gives him a shout out. I think Zay's off today. Zay's off today golfing, I think. I think he took a day off to golf. We'll let him do that. He's hit sales quota the last 3 quarters in a row, so we'll give him a break here.
What I love though is that Sophie's not like, hey, Josh and DJ are on JL and D. No, she gives the DZ. Thanks.
That's it. That's all good. It's all good.
Hey, so here you are. You're at the LTEN. What's kind of like as you go? Because I've been to a bunch of conferences before, and I know there's a lot. Like those are a unbelievable opportunity to connect, create, close some deals, whatever it may be. What, like for you as you went to LTEN?
Yeah.
What was kind of like your mindset going into that, number one? And then number two, what were some of the big lessons that you did learn in terms of everything that was going on there?
Yeah, my mindset was twofold. It was one, just like be a sponge and learn as much as I can. And number two was connect with, great people. I mean, those were the two overall things when I said, like, what am I going to go out there and really try to accomplish? Those are the two things. And then I learned a lot. I did both of those things, and I learned a ton. The thing is, and you keep hearing it, it's kind of like, I mean, probably if you go back, I don't know, 25 years ago, everybody was talking about the internet and how the internet was going to change the world, right? Like, and so you had people on one side saying that it was going to change the world in a positive way. And these are all the things that we're going to have access to, information, and be able to connect with one another, all these things. And then you had all these people saying that this is going to be the end of the world. How it's going to take all of our jobs. It's going to do all these different things. And you know what? The internet has probably done both. There's been a ton of great things that have come from it. There's been some negative things, but all in all, I think we can say that the internet's probably been a pretty darn good thing for society and for business and all the things. Well, I felt the same way at the conference this year with AI. You just keep hearing about artificial intelligence, AI. Here's how it's going to disrupt this, and here's how it's going to solve for that. Here's what you need to watch out, over here. And to see how these trainers and educators were using AI and their vision for using AI just was really helpful. I mean, obviously we're building a company and building, products and experiences. And so how do we incorporate AI? How are we currently incorporating it? How have we done it in the past? I mean, we've used it, a year plus ago, AI. And then, but most importantly, what are we going to use it and how are we going to use it in the future? So sitting through some of those workshops and hearing at how some of the best and brightest are utilizing AI was really awesome. The other thing I'll say as it pertains to AI is I'm realizing more and more, and I mentioned this on a past podcast, or maybe it was even a live, but with AI, and it's not about having the answer. Like the answers are all there. They're you can find them on the internet. You can put it into ChatGPT. The answers are all there. The top level and the elite performers, the elite trainers, what questions are we asking? What are the questions? Not what are the answers. And what are we putting into AI so that we get the right output that really truly adds value to our customer? And so that's what's keeping me up at night right now, is like saying, okay, how am I making sure that I'm being curious enough and asking the right questions so that when I utilize artificial intelligence, I'm able to better serve my customer, my end user. And so that's something I've thought a lot about. And after going to the conference, I'm like, yeah, I got to continue to up level in this area for sure. So
yeah, that's awesome you say that too, because I think you do, like, one of the things that I feel like people get scared about with AI is the loss of the human element. But what you just added there was recognizing that it is a tool. It's not a replacement for humanity.
That's right.
And so it's really interesting because you were talking about like losing jobs to the internet, and I definitely hear that a lot from the AI perspective. And I was just on LinkedIn the other day, and there's all these new jobs. Like there's a whole new industry that now is being formed
right
around AI in terms of interpreting stuff, making sure that the quality of the output is accurate. It's really interesting. So it's like, it's the abundance versus the scarcity mindset, which we talk a lot about here at Limitless Minds is, if you have a scarcity mindset, even with something like AI, there is going to be negativity. There is going to be protection. There's going to be defensiveness. There is going to be greed. There is going to be ego, none of which will help you thrive.
Right.
But if you look at it from a different lens and you go, oh, AI, how can we use that? How can we help serve our customers with it?
Yeah.
That up level, then it's a whole different ballgame, and that abundance mindset comes to fruition.
No, so it's a really good point. It's something that we'll have to continue to explore and focus on. You asked too what else I learned. I learned that Josh, consistency is so important. This was our third year at the conference. I spent 18 years in the industry before we started this company, and we're in year 5 of this company. So 23 years I've had experience with some of the people that had walked through those hallways at LTEN, which was really cool to see some of those folks that I knew when I was at stage 1 training as a 22-year-old newly out of college kid, really. But being consistent, consistently showing up, whether it's over the last 3 years at the conference or over the last 23 years as a professional, I feel like that has contributed to, the success of our company in terms of just having strong relationships and putting, really most importantly, putting really great people around us at Limitless Minds, whether they're customers and or the people that are here. It's like that consistency has brought the right people in to build this great company that we're building. So I was super excited to see that and learn that and how that works and see it displayed there. The last thing I would say is
man, that's awesome.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying consistency, man. That's what it's about. It's like we talk about it all the time. Success is boring, right? In terms of just, hey, it's just showing up day in and day out. It's showing out day in and day out. A lot of times the same behaviors and habits over and over and over again. And what you're talking about there is, hey, consistency of making sure I'm showing up out there and connecting and connecting and connecting. That's awesome.
No, I appreciate
that.
I appreciate it, man. I mean, again, it's like if you hang around and put yourself around great people, you start to pick up some of this stuff. None of this stuff, is inherent in me where I'm, but I wasn't a 4.0 student like Josh Lifrak, but what I can say is that I will ask questions. Anybody that's hung out with me knows that, I'm just, I like to learn. And I've realized that doing that over a prolonged period of time, Trevor would call it the aggregate of marginal gains. You might call it consistency, whatever you want to call it, but that discipline to do it. And that's another thing, Josh, that I see you guys talk about a lot that, again, it's not really fancy, but discipline is such a great tool to have in your toolbox. Oftentimes when you're working with elite performers, whether it's leaders or athletes, people will ask Josh, I see him ask all the time, hey, I got my 15-year-old, son, trying to be a professional, baseball player someday, getting scouted by X, Y, and Z, what can they do to take their game to the next level? And what I've seen you guys do consistently is say, no, it's not about what they can do. It's what can they stop doing? They can stop, every time they strike out saying, I suck. They can stop hanging around that person that's going to drag them around, down. They can stop using certain substances or anything that may be holding them back or not giving them a competitive advantage. So there's all these different things that they can stop doing, and but that takes discipline. And again, that goes kind of along with consistency. Can you do that over a long period of time? Can you stay disciplined over a long period of time? And I think that's something, again, that I've learned from you and your team of room tilters.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And yeah, I think you kind of nailed it there too. And when I hear the word discipline too, I think about, the kid who's just loves the game, right? They love whatever game it is. It might be the sales game, it might be the basketball game, whatever. And they're going to go and they're going to work on that craft when they don't have to. And that's the whole thing is like, those are the kids, those are the parents, those are the people that succeed. Is like, hey, I don't have much to do right now. It's a little bit quiet. Maybe there's nothing on my schedule. Am I going to scroll Instagram, or
Right.
You know, Instagram's addicting. Right. I get it. But there's that separation too. There's that way to kind of break from that and go, hey, I remember hearing years ago that like there's two ways we're often involved in the world. We're either educating ourselves or we're entertaining ourselves. And so, you know, you got a choice right there. Especially guys, you can entertain or educate, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Most fall to the trap of entertainment.
Well,
now,
yesterday, no, I was going to say yesterday, and I don't know if you guys were on yesterday. For those who weren't, Pamela Madsen from Outreach.io was on. She's I think her title's the Chief People Officer, but she should just be called. She's a beast. I mean, she's so good. And she was saying that she was like, you're either at the gym or the theater.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And so I just added mind on the front of that. So you're either at the mind gym or the mind theater. And what's interesting about what you just says as it relates to that quote is that I'm either consuming, like I'm at a theater, right? Or I'm at the gym where I'm trying to get better and I'm working on things that, how do I leverage my strengths? How do I get better in the areas that need to be developed? How do I do that over, again, a prolonged period of time? And so I think that ties in. I think that now I've heard two smart people say that in the last 2 days.
Like when Pam was one, I don't know who the other one is. That ain't it.
Hey, I know what you listen.
Here's creator, right? It's like consumer creator,
that's
right? You're either putting stuff out there to lift others up and create something and do good in the world, or you're just consuming stuff and you're feeding yourself. Both actually have some space in the world for you. And we talk about this all the time at Limitless about you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself sometimes. You really do. And sometimes it is
that's right.
Doing some consumption and maybe getting some entertainment. I'm a big, like on the elliptical, at the gym and got a movie on. Great. Two with one, right? So I get that. But, the other thing is that creation piece. And I think that's what we were put on this earth to do was create and to give back and to lift up. And that's certainly my mission. I know yours is very similar, but that's what it's all about for me. So.
No, it's rewarding too. I mean, the more you give, I think that the people that are that I've come across in life, the ones that give a lot are the happiest, and there's a lot of science tied to that too. I think it was the book How Happiness Happens. I think it's by Max Lucado. And the whole premise of the book is like the more you give, the happier you are. So you don't even have to read the book now. I mean, that's essentially what but it's about 200 pages of data that underscore and substantiate the statement that, again, you give more, you're happy. Well, and so
it makes so much sense. Sean Anker, Harvard professor, I think it's Anker, it might be but wrote the Happiness Advantage, wrote that book. And it gives a kind of 5 steps to be happier in your day. One is to relive past great experiences. Number 2, affirmations, gratitude. Number 2 is gratitude. Number 3 is to do a random act of kindness. Right. And then there's meditation and exercise. But that third one, random act of kindness, that's, and random act of kindness, by the way, DJ, can be very simple. It can be sending out a text to somebody who's impacted you in your life and just thanking them. Right. When was the last time you did that? Right. Just reach out. Hey, we probably wouldn't do this for Harry, but hey, Harry Wilson, thank you so much for, everything that you've done for us, et cetera, right? Right. Whatever it might be. It just sending that little gratitude, that piece out there, not only lift them up and we would do that for Harry, by the way. We absolutely love Harry. We just wanted to give him.
Shout out to Harry. Is Harry on, man? Harry's be on,
man.
He better be on. Man, come on. Somebody text Harry. Tell him to get on here because we're talking. Tell him that we're talking bad about him. Hey, can I share something with you around that?
Please do.
So this happened to me last week, and it was with my wife, and we were texting back and forth, and I started to scroll through the text, and I realized every single text for I went back days. It was all logistics crap. The kids got to go here. Let's do this, can you help with that? Can you do this? How about this bill, this, whatever it was. It was all logistical stuff. And I'm like, is this the type of like transactional relationship that I want to have with the person that I love the most? You know what I mean? And so I wrote her a gratitude text, and I told her specifically, I was really specific at what I was grateful for with her and what she does and how she helps, provide, and how she takes care of the kids and how she supports me in a way that I'm able to show up, the best version of myself at my job and building this business. And, I mean, it was important for me to do that because I think we think a lot about, we think about our customers, we think about the people that we're working side by side. And I think it is very important to tell those folks that you're grateful for them. But there's some folks that are right underneath, our roof. And it's important to tell them too as well. So that just happened to me, Josh. I had to challenge myself and yeah. So I want to
hey, first of all, great self-awareness, number one. Number two, that's awesome. Right. And it's awesome to kind of just go, oh, wait, what I love about that, though, is you didn't make yourself wrong. You're just like, hey, we're having this logistical conversation constantly. Is that the way I want to? Is that my value? Is that how I want to live? Is that how I want to live? Yeah. I don't want it to be that. I'm not beating myself up. I just go, pivot, very neutral, pivot. What am I going to do to change this? Krista Ryan pivot. That's true. I would just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do to change it. And then I do it. That's it.
Right.
That's fine. Neutrality is fine. Speaking of being neutral, we got to be neutral because we're up against it on time.
How are we up against?
I know.
Hold on. Let me read some of these things.
Yeah, Matt Miller, what's up? Day from Matt Miller.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Shout out to the dads out there. Matt, how many kids does Matt have? How many kids does he have? 3? I think it's 3. Happy Father's Day, Matt. Let's see. We got
I want to be adopted by Matt. Does that count?
What's that?
I said I want to be adopted by Matt. Does that count?
Matt's a good dude.
Hey,
Matt's a good dude. Go ahead.
One last thing before we go, by the way.
Yeah.
It was funny because we were just busting on Harry a little bit, but I do want to give Harry a shout out. We were in New York last week, just sucking down wildfire smoke. And we had an investor dinner. We went out, had a great dinner or whatever. And we're walking back to the hotel. And Harry just throws his arm around me and he said, hey, man, I really appreciate you. And that meant so much to me. He doesn't even know how much.
That's so cool.
And it was just like this huge,
that's cool.
It just came out of nowhere and I never expected it. Yeah. And, it was just awesome. And so those little moments where you appreciate others and you let them know why you appreciate them, they can be so powerful. So I encourage.
Yeah. I mean,
I know we're going to be thanking our dads and stuff like that too this weekend, and mean it, man. Find out why you like them, not just that, you love them.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that's a really cool story. Harry's got a huge heart, man. That's one thing that when we started this business and when I met him a decade ago now, you could always tell and you always know that he cares. You know what I mean? Like he finds ways to show you that. And so, yeah, shout out to Harry father of 3 daughters, girl dad.
Happy Father's Day to you. Hey,
that's right.
Hey, thanks for showing up today, man. Showing out.
Hey, man, listen, I wore the jumpsuit for you. You know what I mean? Hopefully we got something out of this today. I know I did. I learned from this community a lot. I take a lot of notes with these lives and all the information that's put out there by your team, man, with the room tilter. So thank you.
Hey, man, thank you, DJ. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy your massage from your 5 kids.
Yeah, right.
And we will.
Hey, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody.
We'll see you next week, gang.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll see you.